And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending time with us here. Greatly appreciate everybody that likes, shares, and subscribes to our social media channels. We got Mark Haye in studio with us today, 21st Century Financial, talking about your financial future, your investments. Higher tax refunds mean a great time to invest in investment properties and real estate. Mark's going to break that down for us. Some of his clients, he's kind of keeping his ear to the ground out there, and we're hearing that they're getting higher tax refunds out there. Mark, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Good, I love it. Yep, we got a lot of good news too. Also, Peter Navarro got a short clip I'm going to play. The ISM, which is relating to manufacturing, is up 5 points in a given month, in a single month. It's at 52.6%. Also, millionaire tax proposals spark debate. Now, there's debate in Washington, 9.9% tax, call it 10% tax in income, and with people earning over $1 million faces criticism. And then also, of course, New York Mayor Mandani suggests a tax on millionaires to close a $12 billion gap. He's suggesting a tax there as well. So we already kind of knew that kind of thing was going to happen. So we'll touch base on that. Also, social media addiction trial begins. Opening statements have begun in a landmark trial accusing Meta of Instagram, parent company, and Google's YouTube of deliberately designing their platforms to be addictive. So we'll touch base on that topic as well. And what about using AI for building permits? You've all heard those horror stories of trying to get a pool put in or solar put on your home, only to wait months and months or weeks and weeks to have these permits approved by cities or municipalities. So we'll talk about that as well. We got Luke Makar coming in as well. Aspire Solar, AspireSolarEnergy.com. We're going to talk with him on today's show also. Before we do, a couple of hot listings. We always like to feature our real estate listings live on air, and my phone's trying to jump in on the show. Do you hear that? I wasn't talking to you. All right, a couple of hot listings here. We'll get into it. We always feature our listings on air, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate listings. And we got a beautiful property here at 2488 Del Rio Way in Dunedin. Great opportunity, beautifully renovated home. This property is a 331, 1407 square feet, just under a quarter-acre lot, completely remodeled, gorgeous property here, well done on the interior remodel. The kitchen looks beautiful, quartz countertops, white shaker cabinetry, stainless steel appliances, farm sink, and you also have both bathrooms that have been completely renovated, tempered glass shower as well. Fenced-in backyard. You're close to Dunedin Golf Club, close to the Causeway, Pinellas Trail, everything that beautiful waterway has to offer there in the gorgeous area of Dunedin, Florida. 2488 Del Rio Way, another hot single-family listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Also, 369 West Winds Drive, Palm Harbor, Pinellas County. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 1414 square feet, just under a quarter-acre lot. And this one's completely renovated as well. Ceiling fans throughout. Baywood Village, bring your boat, bring your jet skis. This is a boater-friendly community at 369 West Winds Drive, Palm Harbor, Florida. You got an optional HOA over there. Back your boat down into the ramp, into the Gulf of America. Go out there, go fishing, maybe catch some redfish, some snooks, some trout. You never know what you're going to catch out there. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com, and you can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors. Link over to our YouTube channel and subscribe at consumerqb.com. This is God's country. All right, we got Mark Haye in studio. Mark, I love the idea, man. We're seeing the economy starting to come together. All of that hard work that's been done in the early part, the first 100 days of the administration coming together, man. It seems good.
Yeah, Trump's new tax bill that he rolled out last year,
right?
Allowing people now to get a higher refund.
Yes.
On their taxes. So why do I say that? Because no tax on tip, no tax on overtime. If you're over 65 years old, you get $6,000 more of a deduction, higher standard deduction, higher SALT, which is salt and local tax, so your property
State
taxes
tax,
go all the way up to $40,000 now that you can deduct. Used to be capped at 10. So there's a plethora of things that he did that are going to allow people to get more money. So let's say you get a tax return, and I'm just using numbers.
Yep.
$20,000. Oh, I got a tax return of $20,000. Okay, well, what do you want to do with it? Go buy a purse. Go take a trip. I get it. Or maybe we want to improve you and your family's lives.
Yeah.
How do you want to do it? Now, if you're a W-2 employee, and let's say you're a cop, a teacher, whatever.
Yep.
And you're a married couple of 4, you're paying the most amount of taxes.
Right.
Because you have no control, you have no deductions other than what you get the standard deduction. So you really need to be a business owner.
Yep.
Well, why not take that $20,000 or whatever that amount is as a down payment and buy a 1-bedroom or a studio, something small. Just get in the game,
Yep.
right, in real estate, and make it a short-term rental or a long-term rental or whatever that is. Well, the LLC would own that investment property, and now you're a business owner.
Yeah, I love it.
And now all of a sudden you take that deduction and you put it towards an asset that can produce income today.
Yep.
That can help you, produce more cash flow. And not to mention, you're going to get a bigger deduction next year because you can bonus depreciate and depreciate the property that you bought. So
Yep.
what does that mean?
Right.
So I'll just use simple numbers. You buy a $100,000 house. Now, you can't count land in this, but I'm just going to use $100,000. You buy a $100,000 property, and you could take that over a 27.5 years of depreciation. So it's roughly $3,600 a year. You could do that. If it's $1 million property, it's $36,000 a year that you could be taking off of your income, right, as a deduction. Or if it's short term, meaning 7 days or less, like an Airbnb, or a real estate professional, like you hold a real estate license, you work 750 hours a year in real estate, or you get a cost segregation, you can bonus depreciate. Trump brought that back, and
Yeah.
people don't realize I could take the whole $100,000 this year against my income. So you can take your $20,000, tax free, whatever, we just use that number, tax refund, go purchase this property. Now you have a $100,000 deduction. Next year, you're going to wipe out all the taxes you paid and then some and get another big refund. Now what do? Do it again.
Yeah.
Now you got 2 years of this. Now, this is not going to last forever. When Trump leaves office, all this stuff ends. It goes back down to 20% bonus. You're going to have tax on tip and overtime and everything else. So if you really want to get serious about, what, we would like to do something besides put into a 401k and wait 30, 40 years and cross our fingers, hope it works out. We would like to improve our life today. That's how you do it. You get involved with the tax code. You have some more income coming in, and then now you can deduct expenses. Your travel, cell phone, car, auto, and then you're going to have somebody manage that property, right? Someone's got to clean it. Someone's got to manage it. If it's an Airbnb, someone's got to get guests in there, etc. Why not hire your wife? Have her open an LLC as a management company, a cleaning company. Pay her to do that. Now she has a little business. Now she's deducting her auto, her cell phone, home office, and now all of a sudden you can see how it snowballs, and all. Right. And this stuff is in here, and this is a real estate show, but real estate is one of the best assets to become wealthy.
Right.
And it's not just owning the real estate; it's taking advantage of the tax code,
right?
Using somebody else's money to buy it, then have somebody else pay that mortgage as a renter. So you can do all this stuff with real estate, and I'm using this example of real estate because it's a real estate show, but it's an excellent opportunity to take what you're going to get as a refund and invest it in something that's going to improve your lifestyle today, and become a business owner.
And it's going to appreciate
that.
It's going to keep appreciating. And you look at also, Mark, you have mortgage affordability reached a 4-year high in early 2026, driven by 30-year fixed rates dropping near 6%. The surge in affordability now, with average monthly payments falling by $164 over the past year. It's boosted refinances for nearly 5 million borrowers, and despite these gains, the market remains challenging. So anyways, it goes on to talk about that. And then you also have core inflation slows to the lowest rate since the pandemic. Increase came at 2.5%, making the slowest price gains since the pandemic. So that's good news that you have inflation slowing. So yeah, it's a great idea, and you talk about these ideas of starting second businesses. Ways that you can have, because it's like you said, when you're W-2'd, that's the number. It's the custom, the standard rather.
Yeah, you're going to pay the most amount of taxes because you don't have a business. You have nothing to deduct.
Right.
Now, if you have an old IRA, a traditional IRA that's sitting in mutual funds and stocks, and you know nothing about what you're invested in, you could transfer that to a self-directed IRA and purchase real estate inside that IRA now.
Right.
So let's use our example. I get a $20,000 tax refund in our example, and that's going to be my down payment. well, I have this 80,000 sitting in this IRA that I don't really do anything with. Let's transfer it to a self-directed. Now the IRA owns 80%, right? Because they put up $80,000.
Yep.
You're going to own 20% because you put up 20%, and now you're still a business owner, except now you have no financing.
Right.
Your IRA is holding a real estate as the investment instead of a mutual fund. Now that's something you can control, you can enjoy, you can put all the rent back into that 80% back into the IRA, not pay any taxes on that. Then you still have the 20% over here outside of the IRA that you can take part in, your tax planning and going through deductions and bonus depreciation and everything else. So there's ways you can do it with retirement planning. Another idea that we talk about with people is 401k has loan provisions. So again, using our example, I'm going to buy a $100,000 one bedroom and I'm going to put $20,000 down. Well, you could take, your cash refunds, put in the bank, and say, I want to loan $100,000 from my 401k to go purchase this property,
right,
and put it in an LLC. Well, it's not a typical loan like, oh, I owe 10% to the bank or 10% to the credit card. I'm just using that percentage. Let's say it's 10%. You're paying yourself back at 10%. So essentially, what does that mean? Your $100,000 is guaranteed to make 10%. Now, right now, the market's done really well, and people are happy, because it's over 10%. Some people are making 15, 20% inside their 401k, which is great, but that doesn't last forever.
Right.
What goes up comes down. But this is an opportunity where you could say, I want to loan that money, pay myself back with interest. You're already doing it every 2 weeks by putting into the 401k.
Yeah.
Go purchase this property in an LLC. Now you're a business owner. Now, all of a sudden, again, you can bonus depreciate. You can write off all your expenses. You can go against the W-2 income as passive income. You can do so much with retirement plans, but people don't know that because advisors don't get paid to do that. They get paid to be in mutual funds, stocks, bonds, charge you advisory fee. Right. And so they never talk about self-directed or taking a loan, buying the real estate. So it's more advanced planning, but it's going to do so much more for you today. And then if you did this next year, because you get another big refund, it's going to be bigger next year because of all this planning.
Yep.
You go get a second property, a third property. Guess what happens? That rent is going to be paying your mortgage now. And now basically, essentially, your W-2 is just money that you can invest, play, have fun. And instead of waiting 30, 40 years, you might have to do 3 to 5 years, and you get to live the lifestyle you want to live.
Yeah.
But take what's given to you. If Donald Trump, and you can love or hate him, I really don't care. But if he gave us this opportunity and say, instead of just putting it in the bank or blowing it on a purse, let's do something with this.
Right.
And I like what he's saying. Let's loan a 401k. Let's take an IRA and purchase real estate. Let's put it as a down payment. Let's become a business owner. And there's plenty of properties to do it. I mean, you can find them.
Oh, yeah. We get off market properties too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's an opportunity for seller financing because right now, as you know, houses are sitting longer than usual. A couple of years ago they were flying off the shelf.
Yep.
Now they're sitting longer, so people want to get creative. So you could seller finance. Well, all that means is they're going to be the bank. So you don't have to go to the bank and get approved for a loan. They're gonna approve you by working some kind of a contract out with you on that property.
Right.
So there is ways to do it, but it is a really good opportunity if there is going to be a cash refund on your taxes.
Yeah.
To do something really cool.
Yeah, take advantage.
Take advantage of it.
Do it now because things are going to change. They always do. Now, the only constant is change, right?
Exactly.
And if all else fails on your investments, Mark laid out a lot of great investments there. Strategy, and it's not commission-based advice. That's what I appreciate about Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial, is the fiduciary capacity there. It's non-commission based advice. Like you mentioned, a lot of these other so-called advisors are going to put you in a certain fund. It's going to pay them the most amount of money, all those types of things that you've seen and heard probably before. But another investment, I don't know if this is an investment I would recommend, is the Pokemon. There's been a world record set, Mark. I don't know if you heard about this one. Logan Paul's PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator was sold for $16.5 million at the Golden Auctions. The card was sold to AJ Scaramucci, the son of the former White House communications director. Now, this broke a world record. It's considered the holy grail of Pokemon collecting. It's now been sold for a whopping $16.5 million, shattering the current Guinness World Record that was recently broken. So, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if I invest in that, Mark, but I think I stick to the basics. I think real estate is going to be a better.
Who bought that?
So the card was sold to AJ Scaramucci, the son of former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci. It's the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold at auction, shattering the previous Guinness World Record.
How much money does the communication director of the White House make?
You know,
for you to line up and say, I'm going to buy that Pokemon for $16.5 million.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Where do they get that money?
Hey, all these politicians, talk to that too, Mark. You have these guys, you have this Ilhan Omar, you got Nancy Pelosi. They even had an app about her. All these politicians, they got the inside deal on what energy company's going to blow up, which one's going to go bad, which Boeing or, so they're making all these backroom deals, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, we won't get too far into it, but they are making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, I think Nancy Pelosi is worth, $200 million or something like that right now. We'll just use her for example. But she made on average, $175,000 a year?
Yeah, and probably when she first started, it was maybe like $70,000
yeah,
when
and
she first started.
she's like 7,000%. Return on her investments. How are you doing that? Teach the world.
Yeah.
Because we all want to do that.
Yeah.
That's amazing opportunity we all would like to hear about. But it is crazy the amount of money that these politicians are bringing in. And then we see all this fraud happening, obviously, with Minnesota. And you saw Doge in Florida, $2 billion with a B.
Yeah.
It's just in the state of Florida.
That's right.
So it's not a revenue problem. It's a spending problem. So how dare you guys come out and say, we want to raise taxes on this and that. For what?
Yeah, and luckily, local rep Anna Paulina Luna, she's the one that's fighting against this. So thank God for her and some of the people that are looking into those things and taking advantage of their position in a positive way, not the negative way like we see so many others do. Quick break, right back. More with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial. Coming up also, I want to talk about Mayor Mondani in New York. He suggested tax hike on millionaires to close a $12 billion gap, what the effects of that could be. And you also saw the billionaire tax introduced in California as well. What's the effect of that going to be on Florida real estate? We'll talk more about that coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894. consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Rimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. Rimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rimes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Mark Haye in studio with me. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. 21st Century Financial, Keller Williams Realty, a couple of hot listings. And we'll talk about the difference in, between red states and blue states, really, when you look at the tax rates that these cities and states will have, these policies, they're driving people out of their cities. New York City Mayor Mondani suggests a tax hike on millionaires close to close a $12 billion gap. And the critics warned that it could cause an exodus to lower states. Of course it should. It could and it would. 14135 Cypress Circle in Tampa. This one just hit the market. We've got a 222 here, 1,308 square feet. And this is Cypress Clusters at Carrollwood Village. You have a community pool, gourmet kitchen, boasting an abundant, stylish white shaker cabinet, stainless steel appliances, and an elegant tray ceiling there. You also have breakfast bar, plenty of room for your stools and dining. Spacious living room. Check out 14135 Cypress Circle. It's the Cypress Clusters at Carrollwood Village. Very highly sought after area in Tampa Bay. Another beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We also have some vacant land for sale. This one's 6374 Boatyard Drive in Hudson. By your corner lot location. This is actually the end lot on the water by the Gulf. I mean, your Gulf front here. This is on the Gulf. You have 0.37 acres. R4 zoning, double front, double lot there, Gulf front, double lot. And it's 176 feet of brand new concrete seawall and a boat ramp that was just recently redone. Direct access to fishing, kayaking, miles of preserved natural beauty there. You have 6374 Boatyard Drive, Hudson, Florida, and build your dream home there in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com, and you can hear all of our previous shows at consumerqb.com. All right, Mark, so we've talked about this. We've seen it. We've heard it. California's proposing a tax hike on billionaires, New York, and then you also had Washington talking about, in Washington, they talked about a 9.9% tax on income over $1 million, income earners over $1 million. They're facing criticism. What do you see happening there?
I mean, I just think, this constant tax the rich and tax this, and it's played out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so tired of hearing about it,
yeah.
Decade after decade. Why don't we go back to, we're going to cut spending. We're going to cut this waste, this fraud.
Yeah.
We're going to start arresting people for stealing billions of dollars of taxpayer money. We're going to go to the Pentagon and say, where's the $2 trillion?
Yes.
Trillion.
That's right.
That you lost. Where is it? Like, It just doesn't evaporate.
It's retired somewhere. The guy retired, man.
So why don't we focus on that instead of let's tax the rich and let's tax this? And you're taxed on everything. You go out to dinner, you're taxed on that. You tax on income, tax on your property, tax on everything's taxed.
But it's free though. If I tax it, I get something for free, don't I?
Yeah. And if you're going to tax these people, they're going to leave. Yeah. Florida has zero state income tax, and there's no reason why we shouldn't pass homestead property tax elimination.
That's right.
There's no reason. We have $2 billion of waste. Okay, so we should be able to eliminate that. You take a homestead property tax off the table and no state income tax, they're flooding here.
And they hate it. Look at this. This is something from Blazengolia if you're watching our TV show. So it's a lie. Property tax it cuts raise Lee County infrastructure problems. No, it doesn't. Blazengolia, the CFO, saying right here, no, that's BS. That's not what it does. Property taxes don't pay for infrastructure. So it's a flat-out lie in the media, and it's all about protecting their coffers, protecting their
We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem.
Exactly.
Fix the spending problem.
That's right. Mark Haye, how can people connect with you, sir?
Call, text 727-804-7220. And again, 727-804-7220. And I've been really enjoying the Olympics. I don't know if you've been watching it, but
I saw curling.
Awesome.
I saw Canada got busted for cheating or something
I
like
love
that.
watching our athletes. They're doing an amazing job, so keep it up.
Awesome, man. All right, Mark Haye. Coming up, we're going to talk with Luke Makar, Aspire Solar. We're going to talk about solar on the show. Great product. More here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk solar here in just a moment with Luke. He's in studio with us, Aspire Solar. We're going to talk about some of the major misnomers that you find out there in the solar space, some of the commercial tax credits, and ways that you can save money utilizing that photovoltaic energy that is given to us freely from the good Lord and Creator, the sun up there, man. Got to tap into it. We've got 52 panels on our roof, and I like it. I like having solar. I like knowing that I'm offsetting the grid and, at least creating some of my own energy. So we'll talk more about that here coming up. Also, I want to get into this social media addiction trials. Opening statements begun with this landmark trial. You got Facebook, Meta, Google, YouTube, allegedly deliberately designing these platforms to be addictive. So, we'll find out about that. I know there's been some documentaries on that, too. In the past, I've seen some of those different things. But there's an actual case now where you have a 19-year-old. She's 19-year-old now. That, at the time when she became addicted. So we'll see, kind of how that plays out in the courts, kind of like that transgender surgery case that we heard about, the $2 million settlement that happened there as well. So with all that craziness happening in this world, a couple of hot listings here, and we'll jump right into it. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Before we do, Dave, I want to plug our event we've got coming up. You want to tell them about it? We got an event on Thursday, and you're invited. Yes, our audience is invited. We had a couple calls, people saying, hey, I just want to make sure I'm allowed to come. Yeah, you can come. If you're our listener and you like our show and you love our country, you can come. Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be this Thursday, February 19th at 6 p.m., located right at the Crown and Bull in the heart of downtown Dunedin at 319 Main Street. So the first drink is going to be provided by Dominic Rock at the First American Home Warranty, along with appetizers. So come on down. It's a fantastic venue for there. Do some networking.
Come on out. It's going to be a great time. Weather should be perfect as well this time of year for a nice little outside. We're going to be out in the back there hanging out. So our audience is invited. You're invited. Come on out and join us. We'd love to see you there. And, it's fun to have the conversations, talk a little radio, talk some mortgage, some real estate, some investments. We have those conversations. It's always a good time. We got a couple of hot listings here. We'll jump right into it. We've got a bar for sale out in Plant City. This one's 5402 West US Highway 92. Just did a major price drop on this property here. Now we're down around $800,000 for the Finish Line Saloon. 16 square feet. You have a third of an acre lot. Zoning, of course, is commercial. You have that coveted COP license where you can utilize that liquor license in multiple locations. 16 taps, ice machine, 4 flat screens, TVs, on-site ATM. You have leased assets like a jukebox, pool tables, website, established online presence as well. And you have very minimal overhead and established revenue stream. 5402 West US Highway 92, Plant City, commercial property. Yes, we have a bar for sale in Plant City. It's the Finish Line Saloon. Let's stick with the commercial theme here and go to 7154 Shoreline Boulevard in Weeki Wachee. Shoreline Boulevard, great opportunity here to own a waterfront property. This is a marina, Weeki Wachee Marina, 3/4 acre lot, multiple income streams coming in. You've got the Suzuki servicer provider with established motor repair business. You have a rental space available there. Maybe you want to have a live-in manager. This one's on the Weeki Wachee River. You have access to the Gulf. Multiple rental incomes coming in as well. You have a retail store. Great opportunity to buy real estate. You're also close to Hernando Beach and the Gulf. Of course, you're right there, waterfront. 7154 Shoreline Boulevard. You can see all of our listings, PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. And you can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors at ConsumerQB.com.
And yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, Luke Makar, welcome in, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in, and appreciate I love the hustle when I see young entrepreneurs. You know, you're a business owner, you're making things happen, providing for the family. Tell us a little bit about your solar company, Aspire Solar.
So I moved with my wife from Canada a couple of years ago, and I told my wife, all right, listen, we're going to go to the US Hwy. We're going to start a family. We're going to start a business, and we did all of those in a very short period. So I feel bad for her because our first pregnancy was her first Florida summer.
Okay.
So it was a double whammy, and she said, where have you brought me? So,
oh, boy.
The last year, the Lord blessed us with a very good year. We have our second's coming,
nice.
And business has really kind of taken off. So it's been a huge blessing. We're super happy to be here in Florida.
Amen, brother. I love that, man. Love to hear that. I can imagine, being first pregnancy, first summer.
Ice. Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, with a lot of air conditioning.
Yeah, that humidity gets to you quickly, doesn't it? So tell us about, when you think about solar, I know just like real estate, there's so many misnomers. Oh, I got to have 20% down payment, which of course you don't. You can get in with much less money out of pocket, things like that. What's some of the biggest misnomers that you find that people have with solar companies?
So I think it's really important when you're looking at solar, considering solar, that you have all the information put in front of you and you have a very clear understanding of what it is that you're buying, right? So first of all, you have to understand what kind of electricity usage you have. If you just say, well, what kind of system size do I need? People often get upset, and I've noticed feedback from Floridians. They say, well, someone told me it was going to do 100% and it really only does 60%. Well, did they have your consumption for the last year? So system sizing is one of the big kind of confusions or misconceptions with solar. You need to understand how much electricity you used, and then they should be able to tell you this is how much it's going to produce. Yeah. The idea of, hey, Brandon, you're going to save $150 a month. Well, that's arbitrary, the price can go up, can go down, go all over the place.
Right.
So, but if I tell you, hey, you're going to cover 100%, you're going to cover 90% of what you told me you used the last 12 months, then the chances of that coming to be true are much higher. So First of all, understanding how to size your system. Insurance is a big one, right? Or how long the system is going to last. Oh, my insurance is going to go up. It's like, for example, if you spent a ton of money on a new kitchen. Let's say you spent $50,000. You'd want to go to your insurance company and tell them, I've increased the value of my home by the $50,000 kitchen, and I want coverage for that. If your home insurance company is giving you a really hard time about having solar up on your roof, there's tons of options, and it helps to be connected to good insurance brokers if that's the case. So insurance and sizing. The last thing I would say is understanding what type of system are you buying.
Yeah.
You have solar panels, which generate electricity, but a lot of people, when the grid goes down and there's a power outage, they look and they say, hey, my solar's actually not powering my home, right? I thought that was the whole point of this. Mm-hmm. Well, in order to do that, you're going to need batteries, and perhaps that needs to be disclosed a little bit more clearly with your rep, that if you want power when the grid is down, you're going to need a battery. If you're just looking to save money, then you can go solar panels. So understanding what you're buying, you shouldn't spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 without having a clear picture of what it's going to produce, and why am I buying this system?
Yeah.
What's my objective?
Yeah, and I love the apps now too, because you can see that right on the Enlighten app. I love those things. You can see here's how much I produced, here's how much I consumed, here's that ratio. And going back to an earlier point when you said it was subjective, based on if they save $150 a month. One of the things that we do know, especially in Florida, since people are, it's still about I bet it's probably closer to 600 to 700 people a day moving here. But, for the longest time, we've had about 1,000 people a day moving to our state, is that you're going to have those demands on the power grids increase. And with that increase comes higher cost, right? So that's a change that you can almost bet on every year after year. There's going to be an increase in our solar or our electrical bill.
Well, TECO, 50 to 80%, and I'll repeat that, 50 to 80% increase in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So do you know anything else in your regular day life that you've increased your spending on that much?
Right.
And so I think it would be a little bit foolish to think, well, that's going to stop this year and plateau. No,
Right.
It's just going to keep going up.
Yep.
You have AI data centers.
Yeah.
Who's going to burden that cost of the extra electricity? Is it going to be the companies that are building these big AI centers? Absolutely not.
Well, we hope so. In the state of Florida, they're going to try to. That's where we see the bills. We hope that that's going to happen. They're calling it behind the meter.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, the traditional mindset is probably not. Right?
It's going to get shuffled down, And also, you look at hurricane damage.
Yeah.
Every time these utility companies have to go out and fix lines,
yes.
Where's that coming from? It's going to get passed on back in the form of extra rate increases. So the tax credit going away, there is a residential tax credit that went away. I think in the next 3-4 years, electricity rates will have increased so much that will just negate that loss altogether.
Yeah. It's crazy to see, with the amount of growth that's happening, and then also earlier you proposed kind of a hypothetical, what else goes up 50% over 5 years. Well, we found it's interesting because Florida, we have the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. They found that a lot of the local municipalities have actually increased taxes 50%. So there's your answer.
Maybe that's a bad example.
Yeah. Well, no, it's true though, but it shouldn't have gone up, right? I mean, so a lot of these state and local governments, Hillsborough County, $278 million that they've increased over the 5-year period there. But yeah, so it makes a lot of sense to go solar. Now, if I were to sit down with you, or one of our audience says, hey, kind of raise my hand here, I want to sit down with you, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What's a consultation involve? And if you just joined us, we're talking with Luke Makar with AspireSolarEnergy.com, AspireSolarEnergy.com. That's ASPIRE, SolarEnergy.com. Tell us about it.
So the first thing, like I said, we want to understand is what was your consumption. Now, if you're a Duke customer, it's really handy. They actually have your last 12 months. So it'll tell you the numbers kilowatt hours. That's the unit of electricity. And they'll tell you, hey, you used 12,000, 16,000, 21,000 kilowatt hours for the last year.
Yep.
And then we'll design a system based on your roof, right, where we put the panels. And obviously, if you have a south-facing roof, east or west, depending if you have trees or shading, stuff like that. But you'll be able to mock and say, okay, based on your roof, here's what this system will do. And then you'll have options. So the first question is do you want solar just to save money? Is that the only purpose? Or do you want to save money and have some backup if the grid goes down? And then if you want backup, do you want essentials? Do you want the fridge backed up? Are you looking to, or do you want nothing to change? Some of my customers say, listen, I got the money, I want to invest in it. I don't want my quality of life to change if the grid goes down. Okay, then we're going to need more batteries, right? So understanding what it is you want and then giving you a la carte options.
I love that. So the batteries, that technology's gotten that much better year after year, hasn't it?
Yeah. So the big game changer is Tesla.
Yeah.
So the Tesla Powerwall 3, typical to a lot of what Elon Musk does, is it shook the industry up like crazy because it's a string inverter and a battery, which means you don't need to pay for a separate inverter. You can just get this one unit. And you can add multiples. They've made it very cost effective to get a battery system. Yeah. So a lot of people will say, well, should I add it now or should I add a battery later? If you know you want to add a battery now, you have to do that option. Now, I feel bad for those people who have a bias against Elon. I mean, I get it. Politics, sometimes you don't want to. But that is the best way to get into a battery, in my opinion, is that Powerwall 3. It's a fantastic piece of equipment.
Yeah, what a terrible thing he did. He came in and he found all this waste, fraud, and abuse. How can you do that? How can you come in and find all this waste, fraud, and abuse on a national level and save billions and billions and billions of dollars? But yeah, I totally get it. Quick question too. What's your entry level on something like a Tesla Powerwall or those batteries? What Because I've heard all different kinds of numbers on those things.
Sure. So you're going to need the panels and you're going to need racking. And that's the other thing you got to consider. It's like, for example, if I want to go get carpet, I want to go get flooring, right? Yeah. Well, wood is different from vinyl, is different from laminate. Yep. Or what's the different quality levels of carpet? Now, there's no saving money in your carpet, right? Like maybe it will last a little bit longer, but the solar panels are going to change based on how quickly they degrade, right? How well they perform in the heat. And this is a roundabout way to get to your Powerwall 3 question. But you're looking, let's say, a full solar system with batteries like built in from the get-go, I would say mid-30s.
Yep.
Mid-30s.
Very affordable because you have financing available, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. There's which is, I would suggest you're gonna hear a lot now moving forward of leasing. Yeah. Leasing is going to be pushed very heavily, and a lot of people have very bad
connotation.
Yeah, they've had bad experiences with it, and we don't offer leasing. I just say that up front. We have some financing, like longer term, but I think you're going to see a big shift in the industry to leasing because there is a tax credit still available for, they call it third-party ownership, TPO, for leasing companies.
Interesting.
So if I'm the one who's leasing it to you, I can take the tax credit, and the idea is that I'll pass on those savings to you.
Yeah.
Whether or not that comes to be, I mean, like I said, we don't dive into that. But for solar standalone, like let's just say you're just looking for solar, you're going to be in the mid-20s.
Nice.
If you want solar and a battery, you'd be in the mid-30s.
Yep.
If you're adding a battery to an existing system, you're in, I would say between $13,000 to $17,000, depending on the price of battery you're looking for.
Cool. Awesome, man. All right, we're talking with Luke Makar here, Aspire Solar. Quick break, right back. I want to come back and talk about, I sent Bernie Jacques, our local rep here, the state representative Bernie Jacques, great guy. I sent him a quick message and said, hey, man, can you give us a quick summary of what we're seeing with the latest property tax proposals in Tallahassee? So I've got a few bills I'm going to go over with here and give you an update straight from Tallahassee from our friend Bernie Jacques, the state representative right here based out of the Largo district, I believe. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation. Aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online. WillSmithAviation.com. That's WillSmithAviation.com. Or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke, American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net for all of your surveying needs. Land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense. and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right. A lot of good things happening here locally and also within the national scene. We've got some positive stuff happening in property tax reform as well. I asked Bernie Jacques to give me a rundown on some of the bills, so I'll go through that real quickly with you here. The latest property tax update here from the Consumer Quarterback Show. Before we do, I want to let you know about some of our listings. We've got 9914 Ala Vista Drive. This one's in Gibsonton. You have basically $1 million listing. I think it's just reduced below that, but this is 1922 square feet elevated stilt home at the end of a quiet street on a large waterfront lot. Beautiful property here. You have a covered dock as well, boat dock with 12,000-pound boat lift, 1,000-pound jet ski lift, RV parking, fully solar powered with updated panels in 2023. You got an inverter under warranty through 26. And you also have additional upgrades, including a 50-year galvanized standing seam metal roof, hurricane shutters, professional landscaping, and custom exterior lighting. 9914 Ala Vista Drive, Gibsonton, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. And you can see our radio, TV show expert contributors at ConsumerQB.com. All right, so just a quick rundown here. You got the property tax proposal summaries. HJR 201 would exempt all homesteaded properties from non-school ad valorem property taxes, leaving only school district property taxes. That includes prohibition for local governments to not reduce funding for law enforcement. HJR 203 phases out non-school ad valorem property taxes over a 10-year period by increasing the homestead exemption over time until a full exemption is reached. Contains similar info about the law enforcement. HJ 205, and by the way, I think 203, it seems like it might be the front runner right now. So the 10-year phase out. You got 205 here, exempts all homestead owners over 65 or older from non-school ad valorem property taxes. I don't know why that's not already a thing. If you're over 65, you shouldn't be contributing to schools. 207 adds a new homestead exemption for non-school property taxes equal to 25% of the assessed value remaining after the existing exemptions. And then 211 modifies Saver Home portability benefit by allowing property taxes to transfer full accumulated benefit to a new homestead. So that's what's cool in Florida too, is that if you move your primary, you're able to port that homestead over to your new one. But I want to go back to Luke now. So we're talking with Luke Makar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes, Keller Williams Realty, and his company is Aspire Solar. So especially when you think about buildings, warehouses, dentist offices, any kind of professional, they still have the commercial tax credits there, and that's another part of the business where you can really see the benefits as well for commercial businesses.
This is a huge one. If you own commercial property, or let's say, for example, you own an LLC that owns multiple residential properties, you can qualify for a 30% tax credit. So I know some of our customers, they have bills $600-700 a month. They can cut, let's say, for example, I don't necessarily advocate for 100% financing, but let's just say you did do 100% financing. They can cut their monthly expenditures by 30-40% right from the hop, zero down, and then they can qualify for a 30% tax credit at the end of the year. Now, the residential tax credit was nice, but not a lot of homeowners necessarily have a big tax bill. Maybe they get it, taken from their wages ahead of time, whereas the commercial is always about tax deductions. That's the huge thing. So, if you have a system costs you $40,000, you're saving $250 a month, and then you get a $12,000 tax deduction at the end of the year, knowing that you're preventing yourself from any electricity increases over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that's huge as a business owner.
And when it comes to permitting, I got this clip I wanted to play. This is Jeff Bezos talking about AI.
Everything is going to get better. In Miami should have a AI application that reads your building permit for a new house or a new building, and it should give you a yes or a no in 10 seconds. And if the answer is...
people love that, and they say if the answer is no, then give me the 5 or 6 things on why that permit's not approved. And what are you seeing in permitting? How's that going?
It depends on where you're submitting the permit. 100%. If it's a smaller AHJ, sometimes it can be tricky. Tampa and Hillsborough are same day, which is wonderful. But yeah, sometimes you'll find they don't really know why it's being held up. Towards the end of last year, things definitely stretched out because people were rushing to take advantage of the tax credit. But it definitely helps to have an installer who has a history submitting permits. They know the tendencies. Okay, they're gonna pick on this, pick on that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're able to kind of, streamline the process, set the expectations based on your experience. So, folks, please support Luke and his business. Call the show, call the hotline, hit us up online, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. And we hope to see you at our event on Thursday. You're invited to, the Crown and Bowl. We're going to be there. And another great show. We had Mark Haye on the front end and Luke Makar, of course. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. And we'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.